Hey guys, let me recap a few minutes of the UL Monroe game, and then we'll move forward to Georgia State. Went back and looked at the film, and when you go back and you see some of the things we did in the first quarter and the first half that were great opportunities. And we say, well, we didn't score many points and we didn't play particularly well in the first half, but we've got a wide open Elijah McGuire going down the sideline, and I initially thought that Jalen, the ball had slipped out of his hand. And I said, oh man, we're not going to be able to, he's not going to be able to throw in this weather because the ball slipped up. I didn't realize that he had gotten hit right before he threw it. And so that sort of clarified in my mind that not necessarily, that wasn't Jalen as much as it was protection. But nevertheless, we had a play created right there. That would have been 7. He was way behind the defense. And then we moved the ball, but bogged down in the red zone. The difference between the 3 drives, it was 3 field goals instead of 3 touchdowns. And if we'd have got 3 touchdowns right there, you're talking 21 points instead of 9. So some missed opportunities. Didn't execute particularly well early offensively, although we did do some things in order to put some points on the board. Just didn't finish drives. Defensively, after you go back and you look at the tape, had guys in position. We just didn't make plays in the first half. We had 3 guys on top of a fade route, and their guy went up and got it in the middle of 3 of our guys. As a coaching staff, our defensive coaches can't put any more people, I don't think, on one route than 3. That's hard to put 4 on a fade route. And they came down with the ball. We've got to make those plays when our coaches are putting them in position to do that. And then, give them credit too. They had some really good plays designed and dialed up. Coach Berry does, I think, a really good job. And they've had some injuries too, and we're sort of going through some of the same things. I thought it was a little difficult to throw the ball there in the first half, but they didn't seem to find it too difficult. I thought Garrett threw the ball, a wet ball, really well. And he was even handling some low snaps, picking them up and just whipping them out there for some quick gainers, and I was impressed by the way he played there in the first half. We didn't get as much pressure on him in the first half as I would have liked, and that may have led to some of the completions. But I thought in the second half we was able to get to him, and we played much better, obviously shutting them out in the second half, and then offensively, coming out and scoring in the second half. But if you look at the difference in the scoring drives, we had like a 20-yard scoring drive. Because special teams gets a block punt and puts us in great field position. And so Brooks is taking the team, 20 yards instead of 80 and 75. So, but I thought really good effort by our guys. We have a football team that doesn't quit. It's got a lot of fight. And our leadership continues to improve. Otha Peters right now, Otha Peters and Al Rouse have sort of morphed, I would say, into being our team leaders at this point. I thought they did a great job with our guys at halftime, and then it went out second half, and we really rallied and played the way we knew we could play. One positive, huge positive to the game, one of the positives is we did not have one turnover in weather like we played in, and that was a credit to our players, how they took care of the football. Our snaps were really good all night long, and it was a wet ball. And I didn't particularly think the officials did a great job of keeping the ball dry throughout the game and changing the balls out. And we had to handle some wet balls at times. But I thought our kids handled it well. And even in the kicking game, they handled it well, except for the first one. Once we got past the first one that we booted out of bounds at the 2, we really did some good stuff. Speaking of that one, that put us in the hole. The kickoff that we fumbled out of bounds at the 2, that put us in the hole for the rest of the whole first quarter. And so that was sort of tough to get out of. And then Stephen Coots had the big punt that switched field position. They called back for legal procedure. Once we studied the film, it was no legal procedure. That film would be sent in. That was not a legal procedure. So that play should have stood with a 65-yard punt. And then we wouldn't have had to repunt it and have the 25-yard punt that gave them the ball, I think, at the 40-yard line. But nevertheless, we overcame some things. I was proud of our guys, proud of the way they fought and battled. That's the thing we've got. And I told them, I said, we can fix scheme, you can fix fundamentals, you can improve technique. It's a lot of times it's hard to improve a team if they ain't got any fight, they ain't got any heart in them. But that's the thing that this team has, and that's why we see such hope for the rest of this season as we continue striving for our goals for the rest of the semester. But beating, ULM at home, conference game, homecoming game, one of our rivals, that was a big win in the conditions that we did. And we had a lot of fans that did a phenomenal job, that stuck it out in the weather with us, and can't say enough about those guys. And I was proud that our players went out and told them congratulations and thanks for staying when the game was over. Moving on to Georgia State, Arbuckle, their quarterback, he is leading the conference in passing, and there's not a close second. He is a phenomenal passer. He's already got 13 touchdown passes. I think he's throwing for 340 a game. He's got two receivers in Hart and Davis who are well over 5 and one over 700 yards each in receiving. And then he's got a stable full of other guys that all have about 20 or 30 catches. They're spreading the ball around to a lot of people. They do a good job. I think Trent Miles has got that program right where he wants it. I think they're turning. I think they've got to the point where they're turning it. And he has done a phenomenal job there of developing that program. And you can tell they are a much improved team. This is a team that we've had a lot of trouble with the last 2 years. We was very fortunate to get out of here last year with a win versus these guys. And it will take another great effort going on the road, playing at their place Saturday. So we've got our work cut out for us in the secondary. We're going to need to have a great week of practice because they are really good at passing the ball around. And so we've got to have a great week of practice as we continue to move forward. But excited about the win, excited about the direction of our team, excited about our attitude of our players. We had meetings yesterday in weights, and I just thought that they came over with an attitude that they're really, really excited about moving forward for the rest of the season. So any questions? Yeah, I think a lot of times when you give up a pass, and you expect your teammate to do his job, you're doing your job, and one of your teammates, maybe the same one, continues maybe not being in position. That makes you a little bit frustrated. And I think that's why Otha stepped up at halftime. And Otha Peters, he's one of those guys. What's it like? E.F. Hutton, when he talks, people listen. This guy right here, now they'll listen to him. And he talked about everybody doing their job. Don't worry about somebody else. Just do your job. And I thought he had some great comments at halftime. But that's the thing about it. Defense is about 11 guys each doing their job. When one breaks down, that's what you get like on the wheel pattern where they got it up the sideline. 10 guys do their job, one doesn't. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a big play. Oh, that's been a hard deal. I got to give Coach Smith credit. He has held that secondary together with baling wire and duct tape all year. And so you got Bob Jones, who's played corner, he's played safety, he's played nickel. And Bob Jones, man, if we didn't have that guy, I don't know what we would do. He is the most dependable guy that you can have on a team because he can play every position. He's always dialed in. He's so accountable. But we've lost Troy. We've lost for certain amounts of time. We've lost Gervonta, TJ. It seems like it's been a different starter every week in the secondary, and they have had no chance to get any continuity. Plus, they've been playing different positions to get our best ones on the field. Safeties have played corner. Corners have played safety. Corners have played nickel. And so for them to hold up as well as they have, I think the coaches and the players especially have fought through some difficult times and done pretty good.
Do you have, what's going on with the quarterbacks this week? Are you guys going to make a decision early? Is this going to be something that's going to be going Saturday like it has been this whole year?
I was going to say, you know what, we'll let you find out on Saturday. But I've sort of worn that one out. Here's what we're going to do moving forward. You got a quarterback that's capable of rushing for 200 yards against one of the better teams in the conference in Jalen. Then you've got another quarterback who's capable of throwing the ball very effectively. So, moving forward, we're going to play both of them. Don't know which one is going to start yet. Don't know which one will play the most. We'll probably end up playing the one that's most effective. But we're going to give both of them an opportunity. It could be situational. Both of them have played in situations, like Jalen's come in on short yardage. Brooks has come in some on long yardage. They both have started. Both have done good things. Jalen rushed for a touchdown this past week. So did Brooks, and then Brooks had the big touchdown pass at the end. So they both have tools that can help our team, and right now we need all the tools we can get in order to move forward. So they're both going to get an opportunity. Way too early to decide right now. We're still watching film and looking at the tape to see what we feel like we can do offensively against Georgia State to be the most effective and put the ball in the end zone.
When you said earlier this year that maybe we're unfair to Brooks by pulling him out when he was struggling, that was because it was a confidence and not having confidence. So how do you avoid that situation again?
Well, I think now moving forward, both of them are going to know they're both going to play. Yeah, we're going to sit down and let them know, hey guys, guess what, man, be fired up because you're both going to get to play. In the past, one guy knows he's not going to get to play, another guy, he knows the other guy's starting, so he's thinking, well, I'm not going to get to play. And then all of a sudden you flip quarterbacks, and now the other guy thinks he's not going to get to play. So I'm going to let them know up front they're both going to get to play. And but I'll give Brooks credit. Even when he sort of lost his starting job for those 3 to 4 weeks going on now, he kept practicing like a starter. He kept being the team captain. And then when an opportunity came his way, he was prepared. And like I told our team yesterday, man, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond to it. And he could have responded in a negative way when he lost his starting job, but he didn't. Guy was a team player. Said, hey, this must be what's best for the team. He kept preparing, and when an opportunity came his way, man, he was ready. And he hit the big pass to pull the team out there in the fourth quarter. So they both have skills, and they both have helped our team tremendously. So I'm anxious to see how both of them play and see who can. We might end up going with the hot hand, whoever that might be, based on what the defense has given us. Yeah. Sometimes it's you always want to have one quarterback and a guy that's the guy that's taking the ram. But having two really good ones is not all bad too. And this is the cards that we've been dealt. We've got two really good quarterbacks that really have two different really talented skill sets, and we need all the help we can get right now because we've got to move the football. And in this game, we're going to need to keep Georgia State off the field. We're going to need first downs. We're going to need points. You're not going to come in and shut out Georgia State. These guys can put up points. They can sling it around the park. I mean, they've got a veteran quarterback that seems like he's been playing forever. And so we'll need both of these guys. Like I said, don't know what capacity either will play. One of them may play 5 snaps, but he'll play. They'll both play at some point.
Is this the first time in your coaching career you've had a quarterback like by design?
Probably so. Yeah, probably so. Did it 1 year at North Alabama, but it was more or less because one guy was sort of suffering through an injury a little bit. But we'll see how it goes.
For the reps in practice.
I'm sorry, do what?
For the reps in practice, if you're playing two, how do you, are you going to split? How are you going to work?
Yeah, one thing, they both have different skill sets. We're not going to ask Brooks to run every play that Jalen runs, and we're not going to ask Jalen to rep every play that we have for Brooks either. We're going to have it's not different offense, don't get me wrong, same scheme, but each one of those guys runs part of our offense a little better than the other one. And so both of them will run basically what they do the best. And it may be where we run one guy on for one part of the game and run him right back on and run another quarterback out. And here's the thing about it, that is all to be determined. After this week of practice and we see how one quarterback performs, it may be almost his entire show. It is way too early for me to speculate on how much each is going to play, if it's really going to be a dual system. But I'm just saying both are going to play. It may be one guy gets 90% of the reps and the other guy gets 10%. But both, I expect both to play.
If you do that, how do you not become, one-dimensional as far as, say, when Jalen's in on 3rd and 3, we're going to run the football, or do you put him in on, 3rd and 10?
Well, I think you saw what we did with Brooks the other night. Who thought he was going to run the read option for the touchdown? I thought that was a great play by Jay. And even when Jay called it, I said, Jay, are we sure? He said, Coach, I'm positive. And sure enough, they had no idea that Brooks was fixing to run the option and give the ball actually. They all sucked in on the dive, and he just walked in. And I thought that was a great tendency breaker to run Brooks on the read option right there on the goal line for the touchdown. Everybody in the stadium never would have guessed that Brooks was going to score right there.
Coach, as you said, you're going to face a quarterback that's going to get back in and throw the ball 45 pounds. Listening to your comments after the game, talking about keeping pressure on the quarterback when you got one in the second half. One of those reasons is that you got Osborne in there in the fourth quarter. He only played 3 snaps, coach, and then made a huge play, huge sack. Kid gets a huge play in there. Are you guys going to, I know getting fresh legs is going to be a big thing against this offense. How does Osborne get in there and get some reps?
Well, one way is he's got to practice well. You know, he's a freshman, and guys that play are guys that practice well at practice. And you got to have somebody that does his job every day at practice, takes the right gap, and is dependable. There's a lot of guys we would like to play more, and a lot of the reasons they're not playing more is because they make mistakes at practice, and it's hard for a coordinator to put somebody in the game that hadn't got it right all week at practice, no matter how talented he is. If he can't get it right at practice, what makes you think he's going to get it right in the game? And so that's what gets into playing time. Players tell us who plays. That's what the misconception is. Players tell the coaches who to put in the game by their effort, by doing their job, and by executing and performing when they get the opportunity. And so we want to play everybody. Man, everybody's got a scholarship we're paying. I'd love to get something out of every one of the players. And so that's the whole key, is they've got to execute at practice and show that we can count on them during the game. And some players we can, and and some of our issues have been a few players we still not quite ready to put them in prime time when the game is on the line.
What makes Arbuckle so tough to defend?
He's just an accomplished passer, and the guy's a cool cucumber now. He sits back there. They give him good protection. He's got a quick release. He gets the ball out quick. And they're going to spread the field. They're going to be in empty. They're going to be in 4 wide. They're going to create a lot of lanes. And he's a very accurate passer. And like I said, he's been around forever. Seems like he's been there 6 years. And he's a really good player.
They're the type of team that likes to attack the shorter part of the field and kind of use their pass game kind of like an extension of the run game.
A little bit, but they're not afraid to push it down the field too. And I tell you what, I think they really are good play design coaches. As you can see each week, they know how to attack schemes when you look at their play calling and some of the things they're dialing up.
Coach, there's 2 weeks in a row that seems like we held offenses to 150 yards less in the second half. We made some adjustments. And so it's not just offenses that people focus on the struggle. It's defense out there calling too. What is it you guys are going to have to do on the defensive side of the ball to get all the offensive?
Well, you got to execute. Got to take our guys. We got to be ready. Whatever the coverage is to do our job. And we had some guys early of the night that decided to try to do somebody else's job and left some other guys uncovered. And every coverage, every scheme, whether it's zone or man, everybody's got a man. Everybody's got an area. And when you see a breakdown and somebody catches a pass, it's just not magical that he got wide open. That was because somebody didn't do their job. And so we've got to have all 11 guys being accountable and doing their job. Yeah. Boy, how about Dominic Tovell? He responds, I think, with 12 tackles, 2 sacks, fumble calls, fumble recovery, quarterback pressure. The guy was all over the field. Really proud of him. He's our defensive team captain, and he really is playing like it. Really proud for him. And I think that helped, too. Darzell will have to have a big game this week. He's a guy that can get pressure on the quarterback. And we'll definitely going to try to find a way to get him one-on-one and get him turned loose and see if he can put some pressure on him.
What's Javante Watson's status?
We think he'll be fine. Yeah, we think he'll be available for this week, and he needs to be, because we're going to need all hands on deck for as many wideouts as they're going to have on the field and as many plays as they're going to run and as much as they're going to be running us around. And so we'll need everybody available, and I'm hoping to have everybody available.
Was Worthy got on the field
Mhm.
Saturday, but is he just still not?
TJ is, he's missed some practice time, and that's also about being accountable and coaches wanting to be able to trust you. But when you miss practice time and you miss reps and then when you do get opportunities and you don't execute, that makes it hard for the coaches to trust you. And we want to trust him. We need to get him more involved, and that will, he will determine that. TJ will determine if he plays, and we need him to have a great week of practice because we need his leadership out there on the field.
Last year's Georgia State game was kind of the turning point for you guys' team. They were a team coming in with a really bad record. You guys kind of squeaked away with a late fourth quarter touchdown. Last week's game was very simple. I think that it can be sort of the same stepping stone for you.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. And, our team continues to fight, continues to prepare well. A lot of similarities between this week's game and last year's Georgia State game. And so I'm hoping this will be a stepping stone, a little confidence in our guys that, we've been coming back in the fourth quarter, but, we finally got back and we pulled one out. The thing that I want us to do is get into a little better start, finish some drives, and not give up a few more big plays, and now not have to come back in the fourth quarter. I'd like to play well early, and but we'll need to play 4 quarters against Georgia State.
And those close wins maybe provide a little bit more than a win like the Texas State did.
Oh, no question. Having confidence that you can pull a game out when you're behind at half, having confidence you can pull the game out when you're down late in the fourth. I think people were doubting us before we even attempted the field goal. And then when we missed the game-winning field goal, more people probably doubted we was going to find a way. And give our guys credit. Man, they keep believing. They're over there on the sideline. They wanting the ball. They're like, get us the ball back, defense. We're going to score. It was just, it was great to be a part of that and to see that. Until you've really been on the sideline with a team that's got that attitude of, coach, we're going to get this. Get us the ball back. We're going to have an opportunity. That's a special thing. And that was just a special moment with our players in the locker room after the game. There's nothing better than a winning locker room, especially after a team rallies and pulls together. Those are moments that you'll always remember. And I think these seniors are proud that they walk out here winning every one of their homecoming games. These seniors, beat ULM their senior year. There's a lot of things these seniors, every senior class wants to leave their mark. And this senior class, I think, is determined to be another senior class that leaves their mark. And that mark is yet to be determined. And so they know it's a work in progress.
On the touchdown pass, you guys really haven't tried to take a shot downfield the entire game. Was there one of those, okay, let's give this a try, or was there something specifically that you saw upstairs that you thought that might be?
They were playing what's called flat footing at corner. That means we're sitting at 10 because most routes break at 10. And so they were just catching us because we were throwing medium routes, the hook to Jamal, and some short routes. And we really hadn't thrown anything, try to get over the top. And that's one thing going back and looking now. We probably should have tried a couple more over the top. But we were probably way past due to try to get one over the top. And their corner probably wasn't expecting that because we ain't tried it the whole game. And sure enough, Jamal runs right past him and gets great separation. And Brooks somehow shovels it out there and put it right on the money. It was a strike. And yep, Jamal. Yeah, those receivers. And I love kids that communicate. Man, Jamal comes up and Al Rouse, and they let us know the leverage. They let us know their feelings if they can get behind somebody. And Jamal was pounding the table to Coach Munoz, and Coach Munoz, told Jay, said, he wants it. Let's go get it. And sure enough, he went and got it and got great protection. Because those routes take a little while to develop, and Brooks did a great job of getting it out there now in some bad conditions, and that was the difference in the game. But we need to give our guys some more opportunities because we've got some really good skill guys.
We talked about, I guess, how the ball from top of the line as far as, maybe frustration from game to game. I'm sure he wants big games every week.
Right.
But his ability to stay locked in and not make it about him.
About Jamal? Yeah, but the thing that I think about too is Jamal's had some opportunities too. He's got to make the most of opportunities also when he gets them. But we've got to give him more opportunities. He's a guy that can change the game. He's a game changer, and we've got to find some ways to get him in one-on-one coverage, and let him help our football team. Al Rouse, we need to let him help our team too, and he's turned into one of our go-to guys also, as well as Gabe Fuselier. And so we've got some weapons. We need to get more of them involved. Torrey Pierce has been effective, and he's got plenty of touches. We need to get the other guys a little more involved, and hopefully with what we're doing in the future, we can do that and still be who we want to be offensively, which is be able to run the ball, be able to be tough and physical, but we need to give our guys a chance to make plays too.
Having options to kind of ride a hot hand at quarterback, is that something that could potentially also open up the game for Eli? Just since everybody's just been
I definitely think so. And, having a hot hand, that's not a bad thing. Now we're not limiting ourselves because we know we've got two quarterbacks and we've had to just say, you know what, we're going to go with one, even though we like the other one based on who it was. Now we're going to accept it is what it is. We've got two good ones. And we're going to let it roll and see who can help our team the most. And one, like I said, it's not a 50-50 deal. It could be 90-10. It could be 60-40. The game flow will determine who plays the most and what we're having success with. But we sort of got a two-headed animal back there, one that can really sling the ball around and one that can run that zone option, I think, as good as anybody.
and that can open things up for Eli.
Yeah, you would hope so.
If you have the threat of a deep ball.
That's right. Well, every team that we've played so far has come into the game with a zone read plan, which is an option plan. Just like when Georgia Tech plays somebody every week, they don't see the defense they saw on film because everybody has their option plan. As a coordinator, you've got your base defense, but then over here, when you see it once a year, you have your option plan. You unplug it, and you plug it into your game plan that week. And so that's what we've been seeing is everybody's option plan every week plugged in, not really what they normally do. And so this will help us, though, I think, because teams are going to have to prepare for two styles of offenses, a quarterback that can sling it or spread it around and throw it out, we feel like, effectively, and then a quarterback that has the ability to rush for 200 yards. And so hopefully this will be a good move for us. And like I said, way too early to speculate on who's going to get the first snap or how many snaps they're going to get. I'm just going to tell them both to be loose and to be ready and help our team when they're called upon. He is going to play this week. Yep. Yeah, no, and that's the thing right now is, he's going to be back available. I don't see him starting right now because he's missed so much time, and Dominique and Otha are playing really well, so I don't see us messing with that. But we're going to need some depth, though, in this game. As much as they're going to be running, we're going to definitely need him, and so that'll be a big plus having him back. All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot.